Today's the final presentation of the first phase of my prosperity campaign, but don't worry, there will be more presentations to come as and when I feel it's appropriate to speak on a particular project or an idea that's come to my attention or that I believe needs addressing. But for now, it's time to move forward with a greater strategy. Now, the basis of my prosperity campaign, as you may recall from when I launched it a few weeks ago, is to elicit support from the government to mobilise and unleash the real productive and creative potential of this country. As I said in my initial introduction many weeks ago, I have lived 50 odd years now watching the government struggle with one major issue after another and not being able to solve any major structural problem this country faces. And I've been tracing this problem back decades as we have lost one opportunity after another for new scientific breakthroughs, for new industrial revolutions and for new prosperity. And I felt it was time to speak out. With the COVID crisis, the economic crisis, driving people to the brink of despair, to poverty, even to suicide, I felt it was essential that someone spoke and offered a better vision, a new prosperity for Britain. Now, I know full well it could take years or even decades to convince the government to pivot for that kind of prosperity, because my vision, my massive vision of the future of this country is perhaps a bit too bold for them. I've tried to present my ideas in a simple and effective way. I haven't gone into a great deal of detail because I didn't want to get bogged down with endless arguments over every tiny little petty detail, every tiny little intricate technicality of all my vision regarding housing, the health service, defence, climate change and green energy, the economy, and how we can stimulate the growth of new industrial revolutions and new technologies. As I said, I've just touched upon the basics over the last few weeks, and I've also tried to introduce my ideas and my vision and my capabilities, my interest in architecture and design, my interest in science and technology, my interest in economics, and the 20 odd years I've spent trying to understand how and why this country's reached the point where it's reached today, how we've got into this mess, and how perhaps we can turn the country around, how we can pivot for a new prosperity by unleashing the brilliance that you possess, your talent, the brilliance and the talent of this country that's untapped and needs unleashing. Well, obviously it's still going to take time for the government to get round to it. So now it's your turn. It's your turn for prosperity, and it's time to pivot in a new direction. While we wait on the government to see whether or not they would support my campaign or whether or not they would support any greater vision, it's time for a smaller, more tightly focused, more technically focused vision. Now, if you've been paying attention to my work over the last few years, you'll know that I've been paying attention to the automotive industry, and that I've designed and plan to build a new high-performance luxury supercar. Hint. The purpose behind this isn't just to build something glamorous and spectacular. The purpose is to actually solve some of the fundamental problems we face today. I've spoken about my prosperity campaign and how I hope we could unleash a much larger strategy. But if that's not going to work right away, it's time to get on with something bigger and bolder for you. And that's why I need your support. I need a really big favour from you. I want you to come and invest in, or spread the word to invest in, my supercar project. The project was inspired by the Batmobile 20 odd years ago, and I've been working on it in the background occasionally here and there, on and off ever since, but it's gradually grown in interest. There are already a few people showing their interest, and I know that it's possible to build and deliver this. I've already identified some of the engineers who can help me. The manufacturing in this country is amazing at the high end of the British luxury supercar industry. The supercar itself, if you go and look at the details, if you don't already know, was inspired by the Batmobile to build a luxury, high-performance supercar for the super rich and tap into their wealth. And through their connections, a network of maybe 1,000 millionaires and billionaires all over the world, to begin opening the floodgates to all that money that I've already referred to during my prosperity campaign. You can go and refer back to, say, my presentation on magic money trees and the huge oceans of money that's out there. It is the supercar which could be the key to the floodgates, the key to opening those gates to bring vast amounts of money into UK manufacturing, through the car and out into UK manufacturing across the broad spectrum of this country's economy, and then begin a cascade of economic prosperity. A cascade we can all share in, but right now, a cascade of wealth and prosperity that you can share in. So this is Plan B. The prosperity campaign I will continue, but Plan B for Batmobile. Plan B for your prosperity. Plan B for a new and greater prosperity that you can share in right away. Plan B for the prosperity and the profits that come from this supercar when you invest. So my pitch to you today is, in essence, do me a favour, spread the word, and let's get this car on the road. Let's get the supercar on the road and let you become the superheroes to save the world. This is my new prosperity. This is Plan B for Batmobile. So come and join me today.